The world is watching as one of the smallest self-governing territories on Earth stands firm against pressure from the world's most powerful nation. Greenland has drawn a red line, and in doing so, has triggered a diplomatic firestorm that threatens to reshape the Atlantic Alliance. This is the story of how 57,000 people are refusing to be pawns in a geopolitical chess game, and why their resistance matters far beyond the Arctic Circle. The situation reached a boiling point this week when Greenland's leadership made an unprecedented move. Standing in Copenhagen, Prime Minister Jens Frederik Nielsen delivered what can only be described as a declaration of allegiance, but not to the United States. Instead, he chose Denmark, NATO, and the European Union. His words were carefully chosen and deliberate. When forced to pick sides, Greenland knows where it stands. What makes this moment even more remarkable is what happened next. Greenland's entire political establishment, spanning 5 different parties with vastly different ideologies, came together to speak as one. Their unified statement was simple but powerful. We do not want to be Americans. We do not want to be Danes. We want to be Greenlanders. In a political landscape usually marked by division, this consensus speaks volumes about the perceived threat. But what exactly is that threat? President Trump has abandoned all pretense of diplomatic niceties. His recent statements make clear that American control of Greenland isn't a negotiation, it's an inevitability. He's declared that the United States will take action whether they like it or not, and that anything short of American sovereignty is simply unacceptable. To understand why Trump is so fixated on this frozen island, you need to look at what's beneath the ice and what's happening around it. Greenland sits at one of the most strategically important locations on the planet. It's the bridge between continents, a military lookout post that has been invaluable to American defense since World War II. The Pituffik Space Base, what used to be called Thule Air Base, is already American-operated on Greenlandic soil. It's a critical early warning station for missile detection and space surveillance. But Trump wants more than just a base. He wants the whole territory. There's also the matter of resources. Climate change is transforming Greenland from a frozen wasteland into an accessible treasure trove. Rare earth minerals, crucial for everything from smartphones to military hardware, lie beneath the melting ice. New shipping routes are opening up as Arctic ice retreats. In the 21st century, Greenland represents both strategic position and economic potential. China has been making investments in the region, and that set off alarm bells in Washington. For Trump, allowing Greenland to remain outside American control means potentially allowing it to fall into someone else's sphere of influence. It's classic great power competition, except the territory in question has its own ideas about its future. The response from the international community has been swift and surprisingly unified. In the United States Congress, something rare is happening. Democrats and Republicans, who can barely agree what day it is, have joined forces to introduce legislation that would block any attempt to seize NATO territory by force or coercion. The bill specifically names Greenland. Think about what that means. American lawmakers are so concerned about their own president's intentions that they're taking preemptive legislative action to stop him. This isn't about partisan politics anymore. This is about fundamental principles of international law and territorial integrity. Europe is watching with growing alarm. Emmanuel Macron has issued warnings from Paris. Denmark, Greenland's constitutional partner, is scrambling to protect their realm. The European Union, even though Greenland left the bloc decades ago, recognizes that an assault on Greenland would be an assault on a European territory and a NATO ally. And then there's the mood on the ground in Greenland itself. The shift has been dramatic. Last year, when Trump first revived his Greenland ambitions, many locals laughed it off as American bluster. Now, those same people are genuinely worried. Reports from the island describe a population that's gone from amusement to anxiety as they realize this isn't going away and might actually escalate into something serious. But beneath all the diplomatic maneuvering and strategic calculations, there's a deeper story here about identity and self-determination. Greenland's population is predominantly Inuit, indigenous people who have lived on this land for thousands of years. Their history with colonial powers is not a happy one. Denmark controlled Greenland for centuries with policies that today would be recognized as cultural suppression. Children were taken from their families, languages were discouraged, traditions were eroded. It took generations of struggle to win the autonomy they have today. The current system of self-government, established in 2009, was hard-fought and deeply meaningful. Now, facing American pressure, Greenlanders are being told their wishes don't matter. They're being informed that strategic necessity trumps their right to choose their own path. For a people who have spent decades reclaiming their voice and their identity, this is deeply personal. The United States has a complicated history here, too. During the Cold War, American military expansion in Greenland displaced entire communities. The people of Thule were forced to relocate when the airbase was built, a historical grievance that still resonates today. So when Trump talks about American control, Greenlanders don't just hear political rhetoric, they hear historical patterns repeating. Right now, diplomatic channels are working overtime. Danish and Greenlandic officials are in Washington attempting to find a path forward that respects sovereignty while addressing security concerns. It's delicate work, trying to reason with an administration that has shown little interest in traditional diplomatic constraints. NATO is conducting quiet consultations about what happens if this escalates further. The alliance has never faced a situation where its leading member might threaten another member's territory. There's no playbook for this. What we're witnessing is a fundamental test of whether international norms still hold meaning in an age of great power competition. Can a small territory assert its right to self-determination against a superpower's strategic interests? Will the international community back up its principles with action, or will pragmatism win the day? For Greenland, the answer to these questions will determine not just their immediate future, but whether their long journey towards true independence continues, or whether they simply exchange one form of outside control for another. Tonight, they're standing firm. The question is whether the world will stand with them.